That's right, guys. Motor City Miner here, coming at you with a new to me anyway, miner. Well, it is new. I bought it new, but it's been out for over a year, so it's not like crazy new. But I did get my hands on a V1H from iPollo, which is an Ethereum / Ethereum Classic Ethash miner. Came out, I think, right after, I don't remember, but about a year ago, we'll say. Haven't really had my mind on much, for ETH hash mining, ETC hash mining. I have one other iPollo, small little ETH hash miner that's on Octa, but really, it's been a low priority. I'm not a huge fan of ETH hash anymore. It's pretty much ASIC dominant, so GPUs, unless you buy ASICs for it, which have actually done really well this bear market, kind of like script miners, to be honest. They didn't really drop excessively in price, mainly because for at least the latest gen equipment, most of it stayed profitable for the entire bear run. So again, it's just not been a priority to me, but I got this one because crazy sale. I'll put a link down below to Belay Mining. I've bought from them in the past. They're a US distributor. Often their prices are, again, I like being honest with you guys, so often their prices are more than buying direct from the manufacturer, and their shipping costs are really high. If I have one complaint about them, it's their shipping costs. They're like exorbitant. Like for this, I paid $100, even though it was already in the US. Crazy. Like, that's more expensive than the shipping to get it directly from iPollo. But I had to get this anyway because the deal was just too big of a deal. And again, my real reason why I haven't gotten into ETH hash, ETC hash mining, is because those machines really didn't get a discount during this bear market. But yeah, this isn't the best one anymore. The Jazz Miner is definitely the top of the line when it comes to ETC hash, ETH hash algos. But the V1H is still, pretty close, other than the Jazz Miners, the latest gen Jazz Miners and stuff. When it comes to efficiency, it's pretty much the same efficiency as like the first round of Jazz Miners. I think this does like 600 watts, maybe 650 watts and 850 mega hash. So you're still getting more mega hash, more than 1 mega hash per watt, which is still pretty good. Again, not as good as the latest Jazz Miners, but it's not ancient either. And it's quiet because it's a hydro model, which is interesting. And I think it might actually be a good space heater for my garage, because I used to use GPUs to heat my garage in the winter. And, well, all my GPUs are at the farm. So I thought, this could be like a nice option to put in there to heat over the winter as we are moving into fall here shortly. But, again, no intention of getting this, but Belay Mining had a sale for Labor Day. And I actually think it's still going on, so link down below to their website. But for 2 of their iPollo miners, they were essentially like beyond 50% off. Again, these units, anything ETC, ETH hash, didn't really go down in price. These have been retailing for about $1,200 non-stop since they came out, even though they're not even the best ETH miner. Obviously the Jazz miners cost more, but still $1,200 for 850 mega hash. That's a lot of money. But these were on sale on Belay's website for $500. $500 for 850 mega hash. Crazy. Yes, $600 because I had to pay $100 in shipping. iPollo, if you're watching, or not iPollo, Belay Mining, if you're watching it, like, you got to somehow get your costs down on shipping, because literally everyone else that I buy from, direct from manufacturer, other US resellers, they're shipping so much cheaper. I don't know, you just gotta work with UPS or FedEx or something, get your costs down. I think that would help you with some sales. But even with the $100 in shipping, this just was kind of a steal in my mind. At that point, it was half off even with the shipping. $1,200, I paid $600, and I have wanted to get into ETC and ETH hash mining, and this is a nice form factor to put in my garage as a space heater. So we're going to break this open, check it out. I have never had any of their hydro or larger miners, pretty much their iPollo is known for their mini miners. I have like a bunch of the G1 minis. In fact, I have one right here. That is, I have to repair it, so that's why it's over here at the moment. The rest of them are still running. I've actually made a ton of money on these G1 minis. You know, they only use 100 watts. They're kind of like an Ice River KS0 or something, to be honest. Or they have like their small box series, similar to like the Gold Shell box series. But they do make big miners. Typically they're ETC hash or Ethash. I think they also have like a Bitcoin one, but it's, you know, it's like 58 terahash and nothing to write home about. Like, that's horrible efficiency for a 3,000 watt miner. So I'm not sure why they still even sell it, to be honest. But this is a pretty decent one. So we're gonna open this up, see how it sets up. Again, I haven't really set up any of their larger units before. Put it out in the garage, and you know, maybe this is my solution to space heating in the garage. So let's open this up. All right, we cut the tape, so let's open it up. I still love that it's a pineapple with a chip in the middle. I'll never get over that. But yeah, so far, you know, seems pretty straightforward in here, how it's, you know, been placed in here. Nice ample room around the packaging. So, you know, it should go through any shipping pretty well. I do like to see these big gaps sometimes also filled with foam, because say there's something were to happen from the outside, like a puncture, like in shipping, you know, it's always nice to have something here. But it is pretty far in on all sides, so, you know, probably any shipping on this would be most likely fine. And it looks like we have a little box here. Not sure what's in here. Check it out. Oh, just a power cable, so that's great. Oh, and it comes with, that's awesome. They gave me the US one. So I'm not sure if Belay Mining did that, or if that is direct from iPollo. But again, being about 600 watts or so, they just gave me an 18 gauge wire, which should be plenty. I don't think you can overclock these units. It'd be cool if you could, but I don't think you can. So let's get this out of this bag and box here and check this out in more detail. Really kind of curious to see what this thing looks like, since it's a hydro unit. Like, I assume it still has fans for a radiator somewhere. So let's check it out. So we got it out of the box, and I will say this thing is immaculate. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a black box and it's simple, but I mean, I will say this about iPollo. I've always been much more impressed than Gold Shell with their build quality. I mean, even this silly little G1, like, that, it just feels good in your hand. Like, it is heavy, it's all steel, and it's like an atypical shape, and they took the time to, like, you know, machine it well. And I can say the same thing about the V1H at the moment. Like, everything just feels real nice. It's a nice radiator. The box is real clean, no sharp corners or anything. Everything's just really well put together. And that's kind of the back there. We can see into there. No idea what's going on in there. Looks pretty straightforward. I don't know if you can open this up, I'll be honest. Yeah, it does look like you can, but I'll void my warranty, so maybe I won't do that. You know, it's a nice unit. Honestly, it kind of even looks like a space heater. Like, I feel like if I put this in the garage on a shelf, like, everyone would just think it's a space heater. Maybe I'll have to get more of these. Usually the space heater, so when I had a space heater out in the garage, it was like a 1200 watt unit, and it would keep it, you know, right around 60 in the winter. It gets pretty cold here, which is nice enough. You know, it's a detached garage, so it's nice to keep the cars a little warm for when we use them and go places. So this being only 600 watts, like, I might need 2 of them. Food for thought for me. But yeah, everything else is looking like it's real nice packaging. Everything's buttoned up. Obviously, there's where your plug goes in, Ethernet. Everything looks real small. I don't really see any fans. I assume they're built into the radiator in some form, maybe on the back side of the radiator. I'm not sure how loud they'll be, so we'll have to, like, plug this in and find out. Should be interesting. Maybe we'll plug it in inside and then bring it outside. Let's do that. I know I said we're gonna turn this on, but I did want to look at some things that I noticed. Um, so I know I'm not gonna open this, but you can see. Let's see if we can get the light correct. Maybe if we go on this side and I'm not showing my shadow, you can see there's 3 giant coolers in there. So there's 3 massive chips. It looks like that then have their the liquid go to the radiator, but 3 giant chips. So just something cool I noticed. All right, got it all set up on the ground. Obviously a temporary location. It's like I said, we're gonna go out in the garage, but again, just want to see how loud it is and stuff while it's inside, where it kind of matters. So I did just turn it on. It's honestly about as loud as a space heater you would expect. So it's not silent by any means. I don't know if you can hear that. But it's more like an air moving sound that you would expect from like a space heater. So definitely, you might not want it next to your bed, but other than that, I mean, it's pretty inconspicuous and quiet, so nothing too crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna hop over into the computer now, see if we can find this and get it set up in mining. Actually, I want to also put a watt meter on this. So threw the watt meter on there, and as you can see, idle it's at about 125 watts. So kind of like a desktop computer, to be honest, like a gaming desktop at idle. It's probably just the radiator and fans that are kind of upping that number a little bit. But yeah, we'll get this running in the computer and see how it actually does. We are in the computer now, and you can see I've found it. Again, I'm not going to go through that process. It's different for everyone. I like my router. I can look up any device on it. So, but once you find the IP, your local IP, you'll type it in here, and you'll be greeted by the normal, new normal splash page for iPollo. This is different than the G1 mini splash pages. I can show you one of those here in a second. Let's pop one up for you guys just so you know what they look like. This is the old iPollo series, so older machines seem to have this login screen. And this one, I believe the password is admin and the username's admin. Can double check that here. Yep. So older iPollos, admin. And this is what they look like. This unit has the newer one, which I've seen on a few units now. Um, which again, the login is root and root. So a little different for you guys, but pretty much still the same. I wish there was a dark mode. Gosh, this is blinding. Um, I don't think there is a dark mode though. I don't see one anywhere. You guys can tell me if you see one, but I don't see one. So that's kind of a bummer. It doesn't look like there's a dark mode. We can run through these tabs. Maybe there's one in one of these. I doubt it though. So in the main ones, obviously we have our running overview where we are apparently mining already. So that's cool. Mining to their full probably, which is in your information overview. So this is all of this, their default stuff. This is not where you change it though. Change it in the configuration section. So there's the miner configuration. This is where you'll select etc hash or ethash. Um, and then, put in all your worker info and all that other fun stuff. Fan configuration looks like it's on auto, which is probably fine since it's a liquid cooled unit. Log, so that's your running log. Running status, like this is all just your normal stuff. Password change, so if you don't want to use root. Firmware upgrade. I should check if this is the latest firmware. I'll have to do that here in a second. Diagnostics, system reboot, and logout. So yeah, no dark mode. iPollo, if you can make a dark mode, that'd be awesome because this is blinding, and no one likes white backgrounds anymore. So my eyes don't, my computers don't, but the batteries on people's phones don't. Make it dark mode, please. Um, so let's check on their website to see if we have the latest firmware. First, I got to see what firmware we got installed. So that should be in our information overview. So it looks like we're running V0.134.157. So we'll hop on over to their website and see what the latest is. If you haven't been on their website before, essentially for um, firmware, you go to support, firmware download, and then it has the different series. So this is a V series firmware, and this firmware is good for all of it. So just FYI. I already forgot what I said my unit is running. What did we say it was running? 134157. 134157. So it actually looks like we have newer firmware than they even have on the website. I know these say one in front, um, but I think that's because it's the V1 series. Yeah, so V1, V1 Classic, V1 maybe. So that's kind of funny. This comes with newer firmware than they even have on their website. So never mind. You don't have to do anything there because there's no 134157. Um, so look at that. I guess it comes with the latest stuff. So we're going to go into miner configuration. I'm, like I said, going to be mining Octa. So I'll bring up my K1 Pool Octa stuff in the other tab. Here we go. Here's my K1 Pool account. Like I said, Octa is an Ethash, not an ETC hash. So we're actually going to want to change this to Ethash, I believe. So I'm pretty sure it's Ethash. Um, ETC hash is really just like, honestly, this is wrong too. Like ZIL is Ethash. So there's energy efficient mode and hash rate. I don't know what either of those are. Well, I know what the hash rate. Hash rate is high energy. I'm not sure what the stats are on that. But we'll throw in our. Ooh, I don't know for this. Interesting. Well, we're going to go to start mining because I want to do plus ZIL as well. So hopefully we have what I need here. So iPollo with ZIL is supported on this stratum information. Awesome. So let's try that out. This is going to be the stratum info. No reason for backups, at least not at the moment. Our worker name and password. This is where I don't know, guys. Let's go down to iPollo down here and see what format it wants. Um, so it looks like it wants your wallet for K1 Pool dot iPollo at the end. And I remember this being really important. If you don't put this iPollo at the end, it like kind of spazzes out and does not work properly. So, um, but how do I put in a worker name? That's a good question. I want to say it's another dot, but I will have to check that. I'll be right back. Okay, so I did confirm you do not have to put an iPollo prefix for K1 pool. Some pools you do. So, but for K1 pool, it's just your K1, address, which is not whatever coin you're mining address. It's your account address, and then whatever the worker name you want to be. So I'm doing V1H because that's what this thing is, and we're gonna press save and apply, and it'll tell you it'll take some time. And once that's done, we should start mining the pool. We'll go back over to our running overview page, and then once this is up and running here, we'll jump out of the computer, see how it's doing on the watt meter, and move it out to the garage because that's where this thing's gonna live. It has been a few minutes now that this has been running. I'll let it run for It's been on for a half hour. I didn't set it up and it didn't start mining until much more recently, about 5 minutes or so now. So you can see it ramped up and then it has slowly gotten up to around where it should hover around, which is about 850 mega hash. There is a 950 mega hash unit, but those cost a little more, and the shipping is considerably more because those are from China on Belay Mining's website. We'll check out their website in a little bit on this while this deal is still applicable. Um, but yeah, so far mining well, and it has in fact picked up poolside as well. So they're looking great there. Obviously, it's going to take some time to get up to its normal hash rate. Um, and you can see my X1 iPollo X1 is also on here, which is my other unit I have. Obviously, that is a lot less watts. Um, but yeah, so far so good. Um, and it will automatically do Zill on here, which is awesome. Um, if you guys like Zill as well. Zill is going to not be mineable for much longer though, so get your Zill while you can. Um, since I am not an advocate for buying crypto, mine it, don't buy it. So that's kind of all. We're gonna hop on over to Belay's website here. Give me a moment. Again, I've had good experiences with them many times. I've bought many things over the years. Um, Again, my biggest complaint about them is just their shipping. Even though they're U.S. stateside, even if you're in the U.S., you will pay a lot of money to get it shipped to you. Um, so they got to work on that. I'm not really sure how their competitors are able to do shipping so much cheaper. But generally, price wise, they're kind of in line with any of the resellers. Usually, typically a little higher than direct from the manufacturer, except for when they have sales. That's when I always recommend to buy from them, is when they have sale units. So you can see they have that really horrid iPollo BTC miner 58 terahash. Do not buy that. It is useless and 3,000 watts. Oh my gosh! But you know, this is cheaper than what it is on iPollo's website, and it's on sale. So typically, when they have sales, that's when things are cheaper than direct from the manufacturer in most cases. Otherwise, they're typically in line with any reseller with a slight markup, which obviously is because they paid for importing it and all that other stuff. Um, but yeah, right now, the ones worth right now, as I'm recording this, they have some crazy deals on iPollo. So let's check it out. Um, Ignore the sale on the G1 Mini. $10 is not a crazy sale, but and I guess you could consider the BTC one a crazy sale because it's normally 1,000, but you should never buy this unit. I'm sorry, it is so outdated. But the V1 Mini Wi-Fi 280 mega hash model, which was normally like 650, $159, pretty crazy. And that's a 76% discount. Even their V1 Mini Wi-Fi. But again, my recommendation here, because this one sold out, and honestly, it's like this is crazy. So the X1, if it was in stock, is $589 and only does like 350 mega hash. The V1 Hydro, normally 1,200, $500, and does 850 mega hash. Is it the most efficient unit? No, but it's quiet. It's a home miner. It only pulls 600 to 700 watts. And this is what I was talking about earlier: U.S. stock versus China. So from China, iPollo shipping 950 mega hash units. So obviously a little more efficient there. I do believe it takes a little more wattage, but the wattage is a little higher on the 750. You can see the 850 is 690, which I'm looking at my watt meter. We'll hop out of the computer and you can see it, but that's about right. The other unit is 750, so honestly, it's probably just like a little better overall, but about the same efficiency. But look at the difference. So 850, 500, 950, 529. So you don't think it's that much of a difference, the $30. But here's the issue: if you add the China stock one to your cart, the shipping is insane. Shipping is $250. 250. That's a lot of money. Now, if I go back to the cart and we remove this and go back to everyone
if we do the US stock, which yes, it's $30 cheaper, so you don't think it's going to be worthwhile because you're losing 100 mega hash, but we're going to go to checkout. You're going to see shipping's only 100. So that brings the total for this unit to $599. Whereas the other unit's total was literally $280 in things added on. So beyond the 500. So it was $780. See, we'll do that again. Just so you guys know I'm not going crazy. V100, China stock, add to cart, agree to all these terms. 780. 780, guys. That's crazy. For only 100 mega hash more and really not any efficiency gains. So I highly recommend, if you're stateside anyway, and you're going to buy one of these, not saying you should buy one of these, but if you are going to buy one of these, get the 850 mega hash model. It's US stock. It'll ship to you a lot faster, and it's shipping. It's $100 instead of $250. So definitely the way to go. And again, doing great on the pool. So excited there. So we're gonna hop back out of the computer. We're gonna go check out. I mean, this will adjust over time. Again, I think K1 Pool only refreshes every 10 minutes. We're gonna hop out. We're gonna look at the power watt meter. Then we're gonna go put it out in the garage, get it ready for winter.
So there's that 700, a little over 700 watts. Probably because I'm running on 120 at my household. Obviously a little less efficient there. But right around the 690 to 700 that the unit indeed does claim on his website. So we're gonna bring this outside now, put it on a shelf, and it's gonna heat my garage now that we're getting into the fall and winter's coming. So I kind of lied. I am out in the garage. This is kind of where it's gonna go, like about a few brackets. And like I said, now that I'm thinking about having two of these, I'll just stack them, or maybe one will go on this side of the router. There's the router there. One will go on this side, just to get some even heat distribution here. But it is rather warm still here in Michigan. It's been a pretty warm fall, so there's really no reason for me to start running this. It would probably get too warm in here. It's about 70 to 75 in the garage as it currently is, so pretty sure that would make it over 80. Should be kind of warm. So we're not actually going to start this up, but you can kind of see what I'm thinking is that essentially, you know, if I have one here and one there, or maybe right below it, I don't know, or I'll move maybe the router moves above the door. I haven't really thought about this yet, but essentially, I'll just run them here. There's power. You can see all the power down here. And, you know, maybe I'll put like a ASIC splitter, like the C13 splitters, so that I can power both. And they'll both use, you know, like 700 watts. So that's fine on the circuit they're going to be on. Dedicated circuit for heating out here, which I've always done with mining. So, but it is too warm, so we're not actually going to get them going. But you guys can see where they're going to go. So that's kind of all for today. Just want to show you guys where it's going to go. And you know, I kind of already went through like the setup process and everything, so even though I'm not turning it on out here, you know, I think you guys got all the information you need. So that's all I got for today on my iPollo V1Hs. Again, really like the form factor and the performance for the cost on Belay mining. Do not recommend paying full cost for these, $1,200 for not the most efficient ETH miner. Again, they're about one generation old performance-wise. The latest Jazz, they match like the original Jazz miners, but Jazz miners on their second gen now, which has a little better efficiency. But you know, for $500, you know, and if you have a good use for it, like a space heater, like I intend, I always mine out here anyway, so I'm not too concerned about like actual profit, because really anything's better than having an actual space heater out here. Again, I used to have about a 1500 watt unit out here that I run all winter, so, and that brings me no income in return, so obviously don't mind. But yeah, it is a really nice slick unit. works really well. I think it'll work well as my heater out here this winter. So like, subscribe, comment down below your thoughts. I look forward to hearing from you guys on this, and if any of you take advantage of the deal on Belay mining. And that's all I got on my iPollo V1Hs. Until next time.